Welcome back, everyone, to the Less is More Sports Podcast, the college off-season podcast, where you could say we're less of the regular season, but more of the off-season. We hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, and we are back at it again with another episode. But to be honest, I didn't even want to do an episode this week. Ryan threatened to post a really embarrassing picture of me if I didn't, so now here we are. But I guess we have a few things we could be thankful for. On last week's episode, Ryan exposed our whole show behind the scenes for the world to hear. So now we are officially an open book podcast. And because we are an open book podcast, I get to tell the world that during last week's episode, Ryan got upset when I said he had a funny last name. So he went and told his dad on me. So now his dad's back on the show. Welcome back, Alan Northcutt.
This is all lies, all right? You don't let him tell all these lies that you're telling.
I got the receipts in the group chat. I can expose it to the world. Hey, you did this
I
to
think
yourself, my friend.
I think with what happened last night, I think you should be happy to do a show today so you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's the old saying on The Office? I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. I feel like every time I talk good about Texas, they let me down. But when I talk bad about them, they do
Yeah.
really well.
So I'm helping you out doing a show. Just think
Maybe.
about it.
Yeah, think
Just
about it. It's all about how I handle myself, I guess.
yeah.
I just got to trash Texas the whole time, apparently.
And dude.
But Alan, I'm really glad you're on the show because there's been something I've been waiting to tell you. I hear Julian Sand is among the Heisman favorites, and that is one of the many things I do not understand. Arch has been one of the most criticized players in college football, but now he has more yards and more touchdowns than Julian Sand, a Heisman candidate. Julian Sand winning the Heisman is like Brock Purdy winning the MVP. What's the old Cam Newton saying? He's not the trailer, he's the hitch. Sand is not in a position where he needs to go out and win games for Ohio State. He just needs to not lose them. If that's not an MVP at the NFL level or at any level, it's definitely not a Heisman at the college level. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, sir?
I don't have a problem with it, honestly. I
Ooh.
wouldn't put him as not lose the game. I think he's very talented. I think he spins the ball very well. But I think there's other people ahead of him. And honestly, at the Ohio State,
The Ohio State.
that is not our goal for him to win the Heisman this year. Just saying. But I do believe that he is worth being in the conversation. But I think Mendoza at Indiana, I would put him ahead. I put Jeremiah Love ahead. Um, the quarterback from Vandy,
Diego Pavia.
yes, I would probably put him ahead, but I wouldn't discredit what he has done because yes, Arch has thrown for more yards, more touchdowns, everything else. He kind of had to. He was playing from behind a lot, and that's one thing Ohio State hasn't been doing this year. It's been playing from a lot or from behind, excuse me. So I think Arch has rebounded well. I think he's playing very well. Last night it was really fun to watch him. And I was in a group chat with some friends of ours, and I said a lesser person would have succumbed to the criticism that he faced all year, and he stood up there with broad shoulders and took it and kept playing, and he played really well, and he's playing really well right now. But I'm going to break your heart real quick.
That's fine. Listen, at this point in my life, I don't know if my heart can be any more broken.
Texas doesn't belong in the playoffs.
Ooh, despite the fact that they have a college football leading 3 wins against top 10 teams.
You have that loss against Florida, and
That
that's
Florida does, I agree. That Florida loss does hurt.
here with Alabama, and that's what. And I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say it. I just feel like that's what the committee is going to hold against them, and this is going to lead to the committee going to, or not the committee, but Sankey is going to get in his way and say 16 teams because it'd
Hmm.
be 2 years in a row between Alabama and Texas, and that's what's going to happen because Texas would be uh, a force in the playoffs with the way they're playing right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it as I don't think they should be in there. I'm saying I don't think they will be in there.
No, that's fair. I mean, that's valid. I mean, that Florida loss that's going to be daunting. I mean, especially given like the roller coaster that Florida's been on for the rest of this, I mean, this whole season. I mean, we go out in the swamp and just lay a goose, I mean, lay an egg. I mean, but no, I mean, they have an argument for both. I see an argument both ways. So,
But I will say the thing that hurt them was that Florida did a complete nosedive after that game, which I don't
mhm.
understand how they. I guess I do understand, but like you're talented enough to score and do well against that team, against Texas, which is a very good defense, and then you shit down your leg 38-7 against a Kentucky team that essentially is garbage.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I will say this about the Texas team that I've watched all year around. I mean, it's been a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Frustrating year to be a Texas fan. I mean, because we entered the season with so much expectation, so much hype. Of course, Arch Manning's now the quarterback, and of course, all the hype that comes with that. But it feels like every week that something just falls apart. Some weeks Arch doesn't play well. Other weeks we have no run game. I mean, we really haven't had a run game all year round. I mean, this is the first time in 13 seasons Arch hasn't had. I mean, not Arch Sark has not had an 1,000 yard rusher. Other weeks the secondary breaks down. Other weeks our defensive line, which you and me were both very high on to begin the season, looks like an average defensive line. That doesn't even make sense. But Texas, to their credit, take away the Georgia game. Georgia game is talking about every week something falls apart. The Georgia game, we had 8 drop passes in that game. It looked like Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore had money on Georgia. I mean, I'm not saying they did. I'm not accusing anyone of anything here. Listen, I don't want y'all to get that. I don't want the audience to get my words mixed up, but that's what it looked like. But no, the game against Texas A&M, it looked like one of the more complete games that Texas has played all season, and that's really good for the confidence if Texas does get the bid for the college football playoff. But to my understanding, Alan, because I have insider information, you have something you want to tell your son right now.
You're adopted. Wow.
Damn. Talk about that. Now that's hard. That's breaking hearts here on the Less is More Sports podcast.
it's not to say to him, I just didn't tell him what I was going to say.
Oh, got you, got you. I misunderstood. That is my fault.
You're good. No, you're good.
Typical Texas.
So today is the game,
Hmm.
Ohio State versus Michigan. Michigan has been on a 4-game winning streak. So we've had to sit in it and listen to it, and they earned it, kind of. So my thoughts are thinking about this rivalry and just kind of sitting back and everything I've been reading for, the last couple of weeks. I said, this is cute. This is really cute. Like they've won 4 games in a row. They got a national championship. They've had a lot of court dates. They've had a lot you know, time with the Big Ten commissioner, the NCAA. Their coach ran to the NFL. Their new coach has been suspended. There's a lot going on. And so I said to myself, okay, they've won 4 games in a row and they keep posting how many days it's been. Of course, they add on the game that they actually avoided Ohio State during COVID when they played that game because they thought it would prevent Ohio State from being in a Big Ten championship game and having a chance to go to the playoffs. That didn't work out because the Big Ten's not dumb and they understand who their product is. And they talk about this coach who wears glasses that are thick enough that if he looks in a freaking map, he can see farmers waving. All right. And he's got these dumbass khakis on. And they act like he is the best thing ever. He has a losing record against Ohio State, just to remind you. Then you talk about our coach and you say he's born on third base. Well, then what was your coach born on?
Hmm.
He took over a national championship team, and what has he done with it since? The only thing he's done is beat Ohio State. That's your claim. So we're your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You guys went to that point. You guys remind me of UCLA in basketball. A bunch of national championships when none of us were around,
Ooh.
and one when we were.
You know,
Okay?
you know who
So
that
if you
also
want
reminds me of?
that,
Kentucky basketball.
yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
No, they've had a couple good years, but
Yeah,
they've had some good years. I mean, they're always competitive, but
they got the
majority of the,
that.
yeah, the
They
majority
think
is
they're
what you're talking.
somebody. They feel like they're strong and the best. They act like they are. They're kind of like pretentious fans They think they're
Hmm.
classy. They wouldn't know class if I handed them a business card.
Ooh.
Okay. All they've been doing is running their mouth. They're Michigan. They're a very good program. You are. I'm not going to act like you're not. But today, a new streak starts. And I'm sorry that it's going to break you all. You got your little fan club. You got Dave Portnoy looking like Elf on the Shelf, running the pizza places, trying to give a review. Oh, this is look at the flop. Look at the flop here. He's a fake tough guy because he's got security everywhere, runs his mouth. I wouldn't hit him. I'd slap him just so it'd be fair.
I don't think he would slap you back. I mean, have you seen him try to hammer a nail?
No, I've seen him handle a pizza.
That's true.
All right. He's garbage. Okay. I wish Urban Meyer would sit him on his lap and bring him to reality when they're in the thing at the what is it, big noon kickoff.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I just wanted to let all my Michigan fans and friends know I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your cute little run comes to an end. I'm sorry that you guys have been tricked into thinking that you're prominent again. You had 2 good years, my man.
More
Today, over.
over. You heard it here
The
first from the Alan Northcutt about the Ohio State University. And before anything else, I just want to say that I'm here for the Dave Portnoy shade because dude made millions of dollars being a Boston douchebag. Got no respect from me, all right? But anyways,
no.
Ryan, you've been awful quiet. I know you've got something boiling it down there, bud.
I've just been letting it talk, letting him do his thing. I know how much he wanted to be on here and just to talk with you. But yeah, I mean, we got so much anticipation about this game because no matter how much they expand the playoffs, it will not take away the intensity of this game because there's something always on the line. This year, I would say on the line is Michigan's trying to get in the playoff. We're trying to get in the Big Ten championship. We haven't been there since 2020 and so there's always something on the line. They won't never take away the anticipation and just like the the anticipation of this game with extending the playoffs. So rivalry week will always be something special to us because of our game against Michigan, and they just can't take it away from us. And so we're freaking pumped about this game. It's been a very long week waiting. We enjoyed our Thanksgiving, but when it's Saturday, it's game time. So it is officially Saturday, officially game day. Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate are expected to play. Let's go. All right. Let's air it out. Let's play like us, and it's all about us today.
That would be the perfect way to end your Thanksgiving weekend with a win over the rival Michigan Wolverines, right? So what's the final score prediction? Ryan, I'll start with you because me and your dad have been talking majority of this podcast. I want to hear more from you. What is the final score prediction of the rivalry?
I would say, it's a lot of score predictions that I see are like numbers that our defense would just not give up. I don't see our defense giving up over 17 points at all. Like just because I think that they're that good. Matt Patricia will have he'll throw stuff at Bryce Underwood that Bryce Underwood's never seen before, and so we have to stop the run. We have to keep a spy on Bryce Underwood whenever their ability to run, and we got to get home. So like that's not like all of it, but I would say that we actually use our receivers this year and not run the ball as much. I would say that we would win I'm thinking like 31-17 or 31-14. That's
A-
my score prediction.
Alan, what's your score prediction?
First of all, I want to say he's mentioning some guy named Bryce Underwood. I thought he was talking about Bryce Underwear because he should be sitting learning. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is he is a second coming of here's some names for you: Tate Forcier or Devin Gardner.
Okay.
For all the hype and all the money and everything else, has he delivered? You were asking about Julian saying earlier, right?
Hmm.
And what is what has Bryce Underwear done?
To be fair, I mean, Bryce Underwood isn't a current Heisman candidate. That's what's inspired the whole opening segment rant. But no, I mean, to your point, I do agree to an extent because how much is he getting paid in NIL? It's a lot, right?
4 million. Four
4
million.
million? Yeah. He hadn't played $4 million worth, but I will say though,
He's not even
because
touchdown interception ratio.
no, you're right. But what I'm going to say to that is because when Bryce Underwood was coming up through the recruiting ranks, he was drawing comparison to a guy that I know pretty well. I mean, the whole reason I'm a Texas fan in the first place, Vince Young. He does have a very reminiscent freshman season of Vince Young though, and that's what I will be all just to be play devil's advocate here. Bryce Underwood has shown flashes, but I feel like this $4 million wasn't going to be an investment for this just this season. This was going to be a long-term investment. And he has shown flashes of that the talent is there. He just has to put it all together. Now the next step is working on the little things, working on the progressions, making, the timely plays throughout the game. And like I said, did I think it was gonna come all together this year? No, absolutely not. Do I think it's gonna come together against you guys? And maybe I just jinxed the hell out of you? No, I do not. But still, um, no, just to play
My
devil's advocate though. But
my
no, I
prediction
do
on the
think Julian saying it has having a better season than Bryce Underwood. Let's not get that confused.
right, and by the way, you talk about Arch Manning when people were on him and everything else.
Hmm.
When Ohio ended the season and the first game against Texas where he didn't throw for a bajillion yards and go crazy, which I think was a great game plan by Ryan Day. It's his first start. He's going against Texas. You don't throw him out there to the wolves. You ease him in, and that's what he
Yeah.
did. And then he kept better and better and better. Um, they were criticizing Julian saying over one pass in the Tennessee game last year where he short on the ball on a long out route. And it's just a way that we break people down. And I'm going to call him Bryce Underwear. I'm sorry. That's just how it's going to be.
Bryce Underwear,
Bryce
I dig
Underwear,
it.
Bryce Underwear he's got talent. I agree with you. But he already is doing the thing that ends up hindering quarterbacks. And that's he doesn't understand how to make what type of throws to make on certain routes. When you're
Hmm.
throwing it to 5 yards away and you're throwing it like you're throwing it home from center field, you know, there's certain ways to throw the football.
Hmm.
And I think he's very talented. I think he's very raw. I don't know if Michigan is a place that would develop him either, by the way.
No, that's a valid argument.
And then so I have my prediction for today's game at 24-9.
24 to
I think
9. I dig it.
24-9. But I think it's going to be a type of game that you're going to be like, yeah, Ohio State won by 15 points, but it just feels like they kind of controlled the entire game. So, and then I hope Ryan Day does this when the time's running off. You know how Sharon Moore likes to go like this.
Hmm.
I hope Ryan Day does this with a little O, an H, an I.
Yes, sir. I'm here for it.
That's what I'm gonna do. And tell Sharon Moore, I'm gonna pat your little ass. All right, belt to ass. Get on, go down to your Florida Bowl game that you're going to, that you guys go to every year. Make it an annual trip.
I'm here for the Michigan Smack Talk. I'm here for it. This is a great way to start my Saturday morning. Now, I think here's another $1 million question, though. This is rivalry Saturday, but is this the only game y'all are going to watch, or are y'all going to watch other games today too,
All day.
Yeah.
all day?
But talking about that, we were talking about this. Want to know your thoughts. Do you put the Alabama-Auburn rivalry up there with Ohio State? Do you think it's neck and neck or even better than the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry?
I have an interesting way to put that. I think that the Michigan Ohio State rivalry is better on the field. I think the Iron Bowl is better off the field. The reason I say that is just because of how brutal Alabama and Auburn fans are. I don't know if this name rings a bell, but do you all know who the former rapper turned rock star? I don't even know what type of genre he is now. Yellow Wolf. In one of his music videos, he's an Alabama fan. In one of his music videos, he's like shooting an Auburn fan in his backyard. And then of course the poisoning the trees and like the people that have and there's been people that have been killed over this rivalry. I think that the fans go nuttier in this game, but when it comes to on-field production, I would favor Ohio State and Michigan because I think that is two programs that are more historically better, and I think it makes for a more consistent good game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Iron Bowl doesn't have its classic moments, the kick six being the first one that pops into my head, but I think when it comes to the game actually being played, I think Ohio State Michigan is the better product on the field.
I'm biased because I lived in Toledo, Ohio for a long time, which
That's
is right,
valid.
that is literally right at the border of Michigan, Ohio State.
Hmm.
And their fans, it's stupid.
Hmm.
And it's this area shuts down on Saturday.
Hmm.
It like it is a huge rivalry. And I guess probably because I'm so deep into it, I see it like that.
Hmm.
Is it to do in Alabama? Let's be honest. I mean,
That's true. There is nothing to do in Alabama, so except college football.
they live for that because that's their national holiday. But the problem is Auburn's relevant, what, once out every 4 or 5 years?
And that's why I say that Ohio State Michigan is a better product on the field. And it's more because of Auburn, like you said, they're only relevant every so often.
Yes.
I mean, it's like they need Cam Newton to come around once every 10 years to be relevant.
Yep. Yeah.
You're a big fan, Cam Newton fan, aren't you?
I am a big Cam Newton fan, actually.
I wish you'd have fell on that fumble a little better.
No, I do too. Well, I think Cam does too. I mean, every time I listen to him talk in his podcast, he goes, "That's the one thing that haunts me in my career is not falling on that fumble."
He was super talented. Like as far as college performances, I always put Vince Young's performance against USC as one of the best performances I've ever seen in a national championship game,
Agreed.
right behind him. But I can't stand him.
Hmm.
I am not a fan of him. I kind of think he was a selfish player. I think he was all about him. And I don't know. I've never been a fan, but I do recognize his talent.
Yeah. I put his Heisman season as the greatest Heisman season of all time. That's my personal opinion. I think, and when it comes down to is the fact that he did what he did that year and nobody on his offense was drafted in the NFL. That's unheard of, especially in today's day and age. I mean, I look at, Burrow. A lot of people put his Heisman season number one. Burrow had a phenomenal season. 60 touchdown passes is insane to do in the SEC, especially playing that schedule where they played so many teams in the top 10 that year. But let's be honest here. He was throwing to Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. He had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was getting 6 yards a carry in the backfield. RPOs were unguardable. And so who's another Heisman season? I mean, Tebow, look at all the talent he had around him. Leinart, look at all the talent he had around him. Reggie Bush, I'll even throw him in there.
I was going to say he was
Reggie, I think what's most impressive about Reggie Bush's Heisman season is that he didn't even have the most carries on his team. He wasn't even technically the RB1 on his roster. Lindell White was.
was still crazy that they didn't have Reggie Bush in on that fourth down play in against Texas. It's like that's your best player on the team, and it's not even.
Hmm.
And you're riding and dying with Lindell White, who looks like he probably shouldn't go to the buffet. Just
I
saying.
mean, from what I'm hearing, he was too busy smoking weed before games.
Yes.
But what
Well, I
do
wasn't
what
even,
you cut out? I didn't even hear you.
I wasn't even born then.
I know. Yeah, you reminded us on the very first time you were on this episode. We were talking about like, hey, yeah, Reggie Bush. Ryan, you remember Reggie Bush? No, I wasn't born.
But yeah, I remember hearing about Reggie Bush, you know.
No, he
You
was a
know,
great player. He was a great player.
my favorite Reggie Bush play ever is that little flare pass he was trying to catch against the Eagles in the playoffs.
Hmm.
We got flat and then he crawled off the field. I was really happy about that.
My favorite Reggie Bush play is when he tried to do a lateral in the national championship game and it backfired on him. That was my favorite play.
And Ryan, you still weren't born.
I
You still
still,
were bored. You missed the greatest game ever played.
yeah, yeah,
It was,
But hey, you grew up in the YouTube era. YouTube exists for a reason.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I was actually um, at Hooters with his mom's cousins watching that game, sitting on a bar stool. And that game took so long because it was so high scoring and everything else that when we got up, that was the first time in my younger age where I was like, oh my gosh, my back. I've been sitting on a bar stool for so long. We were miserable afterwards, but it was a great game.
So as much as Ryan made me and Matt feel old on, our first episode, I'm gonna make Alan feel really old and say that when that game was played, I was a sixth grader. I was literally sneaking. I was because I had a bedtime when I was in sixth grade. I was literally like watching it with the volume on low, like doing everything I could to like not wake my mom up. So like I would get in trouble. But don't get me wrong, it was a rough next day at school, but it was totally worth it.
Oh yeah,
Mom, if you're listening, sorry.
Yeah. He's not sorry.
No, not really. It was worth it. At this point, she'd be like, I don't even care. You're 30, you're 32. That was 20 years ago. I think we're well past that.
Yeah.
I think I'll get over you staying up past your bedtime 20 years ago. Of course, if my mom got on the show, she'd be like, you did way worse stuff when you were a kid. So don't think I feel bad about that.
Yeah. But I have one thing to, we've been kind of talking about at Michigan, Ohio State. I want to get your thoughts on like what you saw from your Texas Longhorns yesterday. Obviously, huge win against one of your rivals, Texas A&M. So just give me your thoughts on what you saw yesterday from your Texas boys.
I'll be honest. The first half, I was ready to, slam my head in the wall, for many different reasons. Not good play calling on Sark's end. It felt like the officials had money on Texas A&M in the first half, and the reason I say that is they had no problem calling penalties on Texas, but there were two blatant pass interferences that they missed, and I'm thinking, oh Lord. And I literally felt the narratives writing themselves in that first half because Arch went 8 of 21 passing in the first half, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. The narrative's going to be oh no, Arch sucks again. And honestly, I didn't even feel like it was a lot of his fault. Don't be wrong, he made some bad passes in the first half. I'm not going to deny that, but I counted about four drop passes from Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore,
Yep.
which those guys, that's a love-hate relationship in its own with me. But then the two pass interference no calls. I'm thinking, oh Lord, here we go. Like Arch's completion percentage numbers aren't looking good. The narratives are writing themselves, and here we go again. That I don't even think most of this is even on him. Play calling was bad. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, A&M gets the ball to start the second half. We had a chance to score, and we drew up a terrible play call that leads to Arch Manning getting sacked in the first half. And I'm like, okay, here we go. But then the second half comes, and the key to this game, I think, was that Quintravion Wisner got going.
Mhm.
Most of Sarkisian's offense is predicated on, having a running game. Like I said earlier, 13 seasons in a row, he's had 1,000-yard rusher. He hasn't this year, and I think that's what's plagued Texas. You can put a lot of that on the offensive line growing. You can put a lot of that on the injuries between Wisner and Baxter. And then, of course, Jared Gibson led the program. But Texas hasn't been able to establish the run at any point in the season. But they did in the second half against A&M, and I think that was the key to this game. I think it allowed Arch to settle in and make some better passes, better plays, and of course that 35-yard touchdown run was just amazing. Even though he looked like a kid running in a backyard football game on that touchdown run, it was still awesome. But I think what the most proud I was of that game is that was the most complete our defense looked in the second half since the Ohio State game, and we did it without Anthony Hill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was because Anthony Hill is now this might be a little biased. Anthony Hill to me is the best linebacker in college football. Might be biased, but he is a great player. We
Definitely.
did. He, who's he going to say?
Oh, I mean, you know what I'm gonna say. We're both biased against our players.
No,
It's
valid, valid.
but
But yeah, I think it was good to see. I think it was really good to see is our defense, put their hand in the dirt and lock in the second half because our secondary has not played good the last several weeks. And for them to pick off Marcel Reed in two crucial drives late in the game. And of course, it was only a fitting in that one of those interceptions was by Michael Taff. That was a guy that, we all thought he was coming when he was coming back. It's like, all right, Texas, that was another thing we were hyped about is that, someone like Michael Taff was coming back for his fifth college football season. It's like, all right, he's going to go out with a bang. And then all the up and down roller coaster that this season's been, it's like a lot of Texas fans have kind of been like, man, Michael Taft should have just went to the pros. He shouldn't have to deal with this his last year. But for him to make a very crucial play like that late in the game is, a fitting, essentially probably last game in Austin. So I was happy for that.
yeah, and I want to just say my viewpoint kind of. Um, I agree with everything you were saying. Just like the first half, I feel like maybe the running back for Texas could have like chipped the defensive lineman because it felt like Arch was running for his life in the first half, like with the Texas A&M bringing pressure. Obviously
Hmm.
they have Powell who leads the SEC in sacks, but I mean he was kind of running for his life in the first half, and then also the receivers dropping the ball. That wasn't like anything, if your quarterback's in that kind of trouble, you need anything to help your quarterback. And so they were dropping the ball. It wasn't great, but then they figured it out. Like I know you all had Ty Anthony Smith who was out for the first half because of
The targeting penalty a week ago. Yeah.
yeah. And obviously, missing Anthony Hill for a past couple of games hurts so much. But I mean, I saw the intensity. I saw what I had should have that I've seen like against like Ohio State where the defense was really good. And I actually said to my uncle, who it was like great to see that interception, which obviously they ended up with two, but we didn't know that
hmm
at the time, was by Michael Taft. Like the
hmm
I think of like veteran on Texas, I think of Michael Taft just because
Oh, absolutely.
it's been there. But yeah, I mean they played great defensively, keeping like keeping Marcel Reed contained because you know how crazy he can get whenever he gets out of the pocket. But they slowed down the run game. They uh you know like made it difficult for him to pass. I think that the Texas defense, they balled out yesterday, and so obviously Archie Manning did with all the hate that he's gotten. So he really he showed some fight, which he needed to show, and so I think he definitely did it, and we will see. We will see if that's enough to get them in the playoff, and but honestly, great win. I mean, it was a great win and a win that you really needed.
Absolutely. I think at the very worst case scenario, this is a momentum building win to build on for next year. I think if anything else. So I'm hoping for the best, but expecting the worst when it comes to Texas getting into the college football playoff. And I also want to shout out Ethan Burke the way he played in that game. Ethan Burke is another Austin kid. He had 6 tackles in the first half and a blocked field goal. That's a great half. And then of course he locked in and continued to push momentum in the second half for that defense. And then it was a more collective unit. But no, I'm excited to see, if Texas can get in the college football playoff, what they could do. And I think I agree with Allen. I think they're a dangerous team because they are kind of starting to hit their stride right now. They're starting to look like the team we thought they could be to begin the year. I just wish
Yeah,
they would.
and and speaking of Ethan Burke, he saved that punt return by ripping the guy's shirt
Oh
off.
my gosh, that I know his hands are sore this morning
Hamstring,
after
I
that.
tell you.
No, I know his hands are sore after that. But
Yeah.
anyways, we got about 6 minutes left to go. There's probably a lot of games we could talk about, but there's another big storyline that's unfolding today. Lane Kiffin makes an announcement.
Can
Does
I
he
add one?
stay? Does he go? What you got, Alan?
I'd like to give a shout out to Kaylee, Ryan's sister, and her Indiana Hoosiers, who finished the season undefeated,
Absolutely. Shout out to the Hoosiers.
being starting out the year or the losingest program of all time, which they are not now, to going undefeated, going to the Big Ten championship game. Coach Sig's got them playing, and I just thought I would give her a shout out real quick because Ryan never does. There is one more Northcutt. So
Absolutely. So I'll shout out Kaylee as well, but we got a little sibling. We probably got a little sibling rivalry between Ryan and Kaylee.
Yeah, we've always had it. I think we're getting better as best friends, but we've always had a
they
rivalry.
are going somewhere next weekend, actually, aren't you?
Yeah, we're actually uh whether Ohio State makes it or not, we're going to the Big Ten championship next
Oh,
weekend.
that'll be a great time.
Yeah, yeah. So
Hey, get
and
some clips for the Less is More Sports podcast.
yeah, I will. And my family's a big Indiana fan, like our big Indiana fans. So I mean, they're already there, but we bought our tickets in like week 6, so we're going
Yeah.
no matter.
I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, I am an Indiana grad as well. I mean, I know Kaylee could argue if Kaylee was on the show right now, she could probably argue and be like, "Well, you went to Southeast campus. You didn't go to Bloomington campus." It's like, okay, my degree still says IU, so it is still good to see IU finish with a perfect record.
Yeah. I mean, Indiana fans are loving it right now and take it in for sure.
Absolutely, as they should. And it's funny though, because Coach Sig said a couple years ago, he said, I figured I'd show up to the Big Ten Championship Media Day because we're going to be playing here next year. And even though they didn't make it last year to the Big Ten Championship, he did make it in 2 years, which where Indiana was at when he started, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Impressive in itself for sure.
I
So,
think Ryan will agree when we say this. We are low key kind of in a Coach Sig Stan podcast in a way.
Ryan does not like Indiana at all. He won't admit it, but he can't stand them.
No, yeah.
So let's go back to Lane Kiffin.
Yes. He makes an announcement today. Does he
And
stay? Does he go?
I've seen tweets from like, Hayes Fawcett, Todd McShay that it's gonna be a wild day. So I'm expecting really anything.
I have a feeling
Here,
I'm going to be making a lot of clips after we get off here.
I told Ryan last night, I said, how funny would it be if they're like, hey guys, I've decided I'm going to the Tennessee Titans.
That'd be insane. That would be wild.
Blow everything up.
That would,
And
yeah, that would explode right there. Like, I mean, our show would go into overdrive at that point because I'll be having to clip farm like no other.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest though. I'll throw this in here real quick. Before we run out of time, I do want to get this out of the way. As always, like and subscribe to the Less is More Sports YouTube and Spotify channel to get the latest updates we have on content coming out. Be sure to follow the social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Threads. That's at Less is More Sports. I had to get that out of the way. We got about 3 minutes left before the timer runs out, but I'll be honest, I was one to say I don't buy all the Lane Kiffin is leaving because I don't feel like any school in the SEC could probably throw a number out there that's too much for Ole Miss to match. And if it is, there's the question of is Lane Kiffin worth that much money? But after what we saw in the Egg Bowl yesterday, I'm not so sure anymore. He might be gone.
he is
Yeah.
good for football. College football. I hope he never goes to the pros again. He's good for college football.
A
I
hundred
love
percent.
talking about reporters. I love everything about it. I am here for all of it.
Speaking of reporters, did a reporter call him a hoe or something?
Yeah, he did.
Was that a not a was that a kid reporter or a legit reporter?
A housewife because he keeps moving around jobs. And so he walked up and said, You you called me a hoe? Let's see how that works out.
Oh no, I mean I feel it. Like as a former journalist, that's never a way I would talk to a coach. That's insane.
And I think it was a Mississippi. It was an Ole
Yeah,
Miss
it's one of
guy.
his own.
It was an Ole Miss guy. So,
Oh wow.
and then he tried to act like he wasn't shaking while Lane Kiffin was talking to him on
Oh, he
Twitter.
was trembling.
Yeah,
Oh,
his face was.
he was shitting down his leg like Jim Harbaugh did times against Ohio State.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
yeah,
No,
but
that is insane. No, I'm always one to support reporters, but you ask stupid questions, you get
not
stupid
in that.
answers.
Yeah, exactly. So, who knows what this day will have for him and this day as a whole for college football? It might get crazy. You
No,
know.
it might. I feel a lot of clip farming coming in our unless it's more sports future.
Yeah.
I
So
also real quick, joke do what?
One thing we know for sure is he getting paid regardless.
Oh, 100%. He's gonna get a bag at the end of the day.
yeah,
I think it's
Just
going to be 100 million or more. I really
oh,
do.
100%. It just whether the only question is who's gonna pay him.
yeah, exactly.
But anyways, no, I made a quick joke that I told Ryan in the group chat yesterday. I haven't told Alan yet, but Matt is not for it at all. I made a joke because we're getting a lot of views on the YouTube channel when I talk about Cameron Boozer and another Duke recruit named Cameron. So I made the joke in the group chat yesterday that we might as well just become a Cameron Boozer podcast at this point. Matt was like, "Don't you effing dare. No."
No,
I just can't wait for the first time that Duke loses and Matt shows up and that team's mascot.
Oh, 100%. You know he's locked in on that.
Shout out to Matt for doing that.
Oh, 100%. Matt's got it. You
yeah,
know Matt's got the hat too. I mean,
Oh,
regardless of who it is, Matt's got the hat.
yes.
yeah. If only it was like, if only it's like Will Wade. I hope it's Will Wade.
That would be poetic justice if our first team we lose to is a Will Wade lit team. But hey,